Welcome to Cuse Countdown. I'm Molly Nelson alongside our analysts Robert Bocci and Bailey Lipschultz. Today we'll be previewing Syracuse number 8 playing Princeton number 7 in lacrosse this week. So last time, 2 games ago, Syracuse was playing Villanova at Nova and they lost a heartbreaker 11-10. And then this past week they beat Canisius 17-5. So what does this win against Canisius mean in the context of their season?
I mean, in a grand scheme of things, not a ton. But in terms of coming off that loss to Villanova, Syracuse got a chance to fix a lot of the problems. They figured out face-offs as Chris Stadio went 9 for 17, and the clears were a lot more successful.
They kind of righted the ship, I guess you could say, after a little bump in the road against Villanova. Moving forward, they're going to be fine.
Now, Syracuse has had a pretty good midfield so far this season, but they're going to be facing an even better midfield against Princeton. They have a very dynamic group. They have Tom Schreiber, who has 17 goals this season and 16 assists, Kip Orban with 14 goals and 4 assists, and Jake Vaccaro with 11 goals and 5 assists. So how does Syracuse stop this midfield, Robert?
Well, I mean, the pressure all comes down to Syracuse's D-middies. In particular, you look at a guy like Matt Harris. He's going to be stuck on Tom Schreiber, and he's not going to have a whole lot of help because, as you mentioned, Molly, you know, all those other guys can score too. So it's really going to be mano-a-mano, Matt Harris going up against Schreiber. And then there's also a ton of pressure going on Matt Harris and, you know, the rest of the short stick D-middies, Steve Ianzito on there as well. You know, those guys are going to have to play lockdown D on these guys who, more than 10 goals, they're all really proficient scorers. It comes down to the whole midfield going to have to pretty much do their job without any help from slides because so many of these guys can all score.
Thanks, Robert. Well, Bailey, in your opinion, what are the strengths for Syracuse against Princeton?
The big thing for Syracuse going into this game is they have a balanced attack of experienced players coming up against a Princeton defense that isn't very experienced with a freshman goaltender in Matt O'Connor. They're inexperienced, spreading the ball around. Kevin Rice getting into the action. Jojo Marasco tearing it up, absolutely. Derek Maltz getting back into it. Going forward, they're going to be able to attack and really find the holes in this young defense and create opportunities to score.
All right, now with all of these factors that you guys just mentioned playing into this game, what is your number 1 X factor?
I'm going with Matt Harris. Like I said before, I mean, he's going basically mano-a-mano with Tom Schreiber, one of the best players over there on Princeton. So Harris has got to stick his coverage, and he's got to do a great job holding Schreiber basically just by himself.
My X factor is Chris Dadio. Righted the ship a little bit against Canisius, going up against Justin Murphy, a very talented face-off man. It's going to be big going forward for Syracuse to get into this game and come out with the victory.
All right, now give it to us straight. What is your prediction for the final score of this game?
Unfortunately, with the game being at Princeton Stadium, I got to go with the Tigers in this one, 13-12 over Syracuse. Right now, I think that, you know, Princeton's playing very well. Syracuse is sort of tailing off a little bit, and when you look at face-offs, Chris Thaddeus is going to need a big game. I don't know if he's got it in him.
I'm taking Princeton as well. Going forward, they're 12-11 by the final score. The Minis are too talented for Syracuse. Sure, Syracuse has a bit of an edge offensively against a young defense, but the Tigers way too talented.
All right, thanks so much, guys. This has been an edition of Cuse Countdown. Check us out on CitrusTV sportsblog.net and follow us at CitrusTV Sports on Twitter for all of your updates for Syracuse against Princeton, as well as Syracuse in the Final Four in Atlanta this weekend. For Bailey Lipschultz and Robert Bocci, I'm Molly Nelson.